Since it was created in Hawaii in the mid-1990s, XTERRA has embodied the spirit of the land of its origin. XTERRA competitors are, by nature, seekers of mana. And when these athletes return to Hawaii for the World Championships each autumn, their homecoming represents not just the culmination of a competitive season, but also the completion of a noble mission to honor the natural world through sport.
In Hawaii, the belief is that everything is connected. The water falls from the heavens, it gathers upon our highest peaks of the mountains, and from there it connects to the land, to the realm of the gods, to the toplands, to the midlands, to the shoreline, and to the deep seas. You're out there on the trails, on the bike paths, in the ocean, you are connected. The Games of Makahiki, the time of competition for the Hawaiian. It was a challenge not only of champions from each district, much like XTERRA from around the world, it was a challenge to themselves, and they were challenging nature.
The Makahiki was basically athletic prowess and competition during times of peace for the Hawaiian people. And so Kualoa was noted for its the site of one of the largest makahikis, and so to have XTERRA come back and kind of bring back that whole practice of having this high level of competition is a great thing.
Since the first XTERRA in 1996, the quality of competition has been high. But even the most elite athletes strive for something beyond prize money and prestige when they toe an XTERRA starting line.
The word mana in the Hawaiian language is an accumulative energy. It's what you do in life that serves the greater good, the achievement of goals, the caring for each other, the camaraderie of competition. All this achieves good mana. It's a gift from heaven that accumulates in your body and gives you more strength.
XTERRA being born here in Hawaii, I think the athletes know that, understand that, and I think it stays with them throughout the year no matter what event that they're at, whether it's the global tour, European tour, they feel that. And by the time we get to the end of the year and everybody waits and goes to get to Maui and they fight to do that, I think that right there in itself is, I think is kind of what carries them and gives them that mana all year long, and I think that's what helps them race.
Most XTERRA elites are intense and competitive, but still authentic. The ethos of the sport might best be defined by its original warrior, Conrad Stoltz, who remained as humble and affable as he was dominant.
This is the man everyone fears, Olympic triathlete Conrad Stoltz. Just a rookie on the XTERRA Tour, the South African already has 2 victories. No one's ever been this successful this quickly.
Conrad, of course, is one of the biggest names in XTERRA.
He can be very strong in each part. Conrad, for me, is the strongest in XTERRA.
Conrad has been kicking my butt all year. He's usually the strongest rider in the field.
I fell in love with triathlon really, really early. I was 13 years old and I was a burnt out track and field athlete. So I just got burnt out from too much track running and I wanted to do something adventurous. And I read in the newspaper, there was an article about this triathlon where you're a swimmer and then you change quickly into a cyclist and then after that you put your shoes on and you run, and to me it seemed like quite a big adventure.
The big adventure led to big success, including 4 world titles. But before he became the most decorated athlete in the sport's history, Stoltz had to improvise.
My very first XTERRA was Richmond, Virginia. And I didn't have my own mountain bike, so I borrowed a mountain bike. They were so welcoming. It was like, hey dude, welcome to XTERRA, and what's your name, and where are you from, and what's with the Speedo, and what's with the bike. And then only much later that I realized that this is Steve Larson, the guy whom I saw running in the magazine ad, who inspired me to come to that exact race. and Ned Overend, who's a legend in the sport, Hall of Fame mountain biker.
Conrad, true gentleman, really passionate guy, soft-spoken, very passionate about sport, but could create a heck of a lot of noise out there on the race course by, putting the hammer down and punishing people on race day.
He rides like a hot knife slicing through butter. It is just smooth, controlled, and beautiful to watch.
XTERRA Adventures is presented by Tea Tree. The Experience. Discover the magic of Tea Tree. XTERRA. Racing and apparel for your active lifestyle. Visit xterraplanet.com. Beyond the Olympians and world champions, XTERRA welcomes into the fold all kinds of athletes from many different backgrounds and professions, with a variety of talents, abilities, and physical challenges. Like Evan Pardi, a triathlete who plays the double bass in the Phoenix, Arizona Symphony Orchestra.
XTERRA really is the epitome of diversity and diverse interests. Being a professional musician as well as pursuing my PhD in music has allowed me to gain extra intensity and mental preparation for racing. Similarly, racing XTERRA has given me the confidence and practice of high-pressure situations and going through them and taking that knowledge onto the stage in all of my concerts that I play and give.
Growing up as a kid, everybody loves to play in the dirt, right? So you're going out and you're getting dirty. XTERRA delivers. It has this appeal. It's got an addictive personality.
You are racing other people, but everybody is competing against the course. No matter where you finish, you have a sense of accomplishment, even if you were dead last.
They're going to cross that finish line covered in dirt and sweat, and they want the next one. Give me the next one. Give me the next one. And that family aspect as well, where people they love it and they see that big happiness amongst everybody, so they're jumping on board.
The XTERRA family is composed of athletes from many walks of life. But what binds this community together is a common purpose, a genuine love for the sport, a thirst to be in nature and to share the journey with like-minded athletes. XTERRA competitors lift each other up. Their success comes because of, not at the expense of, their fellow warriors.
There is a Hawaiian saying that says that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a family to raise a champion. It takes friends to raise that champion. It takes support from all angles to raise that champion.
Nowhere is the special spirit of community more evident than in an XTERRA finish line, where racers, after hours of struggle, are quick to embrace and to celebrate.
You all suffer out there, which is a big thing that brings people together. And also, everyone's always willing to help someone else. So if something goes wrong, someone's always willing to throw you a spare tube or ask if you're okay. I think there's a massive sharing of knowledge because everyone who does XTERRA loves it and wants it to grow as a sport, which it is doing so now.
Usually when you're in sports, it's really hard to actually really like the person that beat you in the race. But here, generally, we see that all the athletes get along pretty well. And that's what makes XTERRA family really nice.
Following a devastating injury in Maui in 2012, Ron Hill, a top competitor in his age group, was blown away by the encouragement he received from the XTERRA community. Bolstered by that support, Hill was back in the saddle only months later.
A couple of years ago, I crashed real bad. Broke my pelvis. Spent 2.5 weeks in Queens Medical Center in Honolulu. And that's when you find out this is a family. I got so many letters, cards, emails from people back home, a lot of the athletes. The family had tried to meet is much bigger than I'm sure any other athletes experience.
Jamie Whitmore, the winningest female elite in XTERRA history, returned to the sport as a challenged athlete after cancer cost her the use of her left leg. The reception she received was overwhelming.
I remember being a pro. You're racing for money, and you're racing for points at the end all for the USA Championship. But not one pro guy that passed me didn't stop to like either high five or pat me on the back or say something like slow down to say like, it's so great to see you out here. So it was at that point that it became incredibly emotional for me, because it was just such a long journey and nobody thought I'd be there. And here all these guys were in the middle of a heated race where you're battling out to win, that they took the time to encourage me and acknowledge the fact that I was out there. Go get him. Rock and roll.
This segment is presented by Tea Tree, The Experience. Discover the magic of Tea Tree. The thriving XTERRA family is the perfect place for, well, families. XTERRA organizers around the globe put on events for athletes of all ages who want to experience the excitement of off-road competition.
XTERRA creates a perfect environment for family. 2018, there was 3 generations in my family racing at the World Championships in Maui. My son was doing the 5K, my parents did the 3K, and they created the 80-plus age group, and then my husband and I raced the Mudfest.
We've used XTERRA really as an excuse for a family holiday and had a good week just enjoying swimming and biking and enjoying the countryside.
We rent a motorhome to come here, so we stay on the campsite. We have a lovely playground for the kids, so when I'm riding the bike course or doing a small run, my wife can sit here reading a book, and yeah, our son can play with it, some friends. It's really nice.
XTERRA races are welcoming places for kids who sometimes grow up to be superb athletes themselves, like Sullivan Middle, the eldest of Josiah Middle's 3 children. At age 16, Sullivan holds his own against the elites, showing he has the same talent, drive, and love for the sport as his world champion dad.
Not only are you allowed to run with your kids down the chute at our events, but it's encouraged, because we know that getting to Maui, it's a family commitment, and we support that. And I'll never forget the applause and cheers we got from the athletes. People love it. All the dads are out there. They're so proud. They're out there. They're training with their kids. You see them running with prams, doing bike rides with their family. And XTERRA, we are a family, and then there's families within families, and we all support each other. We all love it. It's just fantastic.
XTERRA is about celebrating our planet, celebrating the privilege of being able to swim, bike, run, and dance through these beautiful places, and reveling in the company of friends who share the experience with us.
To the philosophy of XTERRA, and the crew at XTERRA has driven that so hard, right? It's a super hard race, but you know, we support each other, and you know, everyone who finishes is a champion. It was a different crowd, like I say, right from the beginning. I think the XTERRA crew fostered that kind of atmosphere and that kind of vibe, and I think that's been one of the things that attracts so many people to XTERRA racing. You know, there's always a party afterwards.
Just blows me away how much work and goes into it, and how much the athlete can get out of it. It's not just a race. We've got all of the Q&A stuff that we do with the professionals, which people get involved with. There's a dinner before the event. There's the XTERRA University clinics, and then after the race, there's the big after party, and then the after party where we actually just let it loose, man. Like it's crazy. It's a full week of activities, and people can get involved with all that sort of stuff. I know most of the tribe does, and it's just a great experience to be part of it all.
XTERRA Adventures is presented by Tea Tree, The Experience. Discover the magic of Tea Tree. XTERRA, racing and apparel for your active lifestyle. Visit xterraplanet.com. Since its inception a quarter-century ago, XTERRA has given its female athletes equal support in terms of promotion, prize money, and overall prestige. And unsurprisingly, women have delivered some of the sport's fiercest rivalries and most impressive performances.
The whole reason I was in XTERRA was I came from mountain biking where, you know, women's racing was like, there just wasn't equality. We didn't get equal prize money. XTERRA paid us the same. And in every sort of promotion as to what was happening with the XTERRA races, the women's race was never second to the men's. It was always like, it was just the same. It was like the same billing as the men's. And so it just made me feel that much more, you know, appreciated. It made me feel that much more powerful. It made me feel that much more capable and confident that I truly was a professional athlete to be in a sport that celebrated the women's race.
Generations of women triathletes have thrived in a culture that has valued their athleticism from the beginning.
And there just aren't that many professional sports that really celebrate the women to that extent. And this was a while ago, right? Like obviously everybody started to pull their socks up and look at, okay, women are incredible athletes, let's, you know, showcase this. But XTERRA has been doing it since the start. And so, I mean, like everything that I am as an athlete, everything that I am as a coach now in trying to bring the next generation of athletes up is a result of this empowerment that came from, you know, XTERRA. Just basically giving us this opportunity and saying, here you go, like, let's see what you can do.
I think it's very important to work for any company that values equality between men and women, or values equality between anybody. And being in this field, especially on the announcing side of it, as being a female, there's not a lot of folks that's announcing, so yes, it means a lot to be a part of a group of people or company that really values that.
XTERRA has always been the realm of the resilient. In 2009, John Henderson was hit by a bus, an accident which left him a quadriplegic. He adjusted to his new normal and completed last year's XTERRA Maui Trail Run in a wheelchair. He is one of several athletes competing valiantly despite physical challenges. This year, the COVID-19 pandemic has required the global sports community as a whole to demonstrate resilience and patience, and the XTERRA family has risen to the challenge.
I want to give everybody out there a big virtual hug. It's been a hell of a year. We made it. We are going to continue to make it, and we're so excited to be racing in 2021. And I have some great news for you guys. Our Maui course people have been out. They've been cutting the trails, keeping them good, making them more sustainable. They'll be really ready for you to race in 2021 at our 25th anniversary celebration. We miss you, we love you, we send our support. We know some of you guys are struggling, and we're praying for better outcomes in the future.
The good news for off-road triathletes is that quality training can be done solo outdoors, even during a pandemic. And when it came to sharing motivational tips for workout hacks, XTERRA fans were there for each other, virtually.
Your knees into your chest.
One of the concerns that a lot of our athletes have right now is how I'm going to maintain my swim fitness with all the pool closures all over the country. And stretch cords is a great way to do it. You can do it anywhere, but you have to use it a little bit differently.
You have no reason.
I'm here not to talk about how to maintain fitness in your garage or your basement, but really to talk about your mental attitude and how we cope psychologically with some self-isolation and COVID-19.
Late this summer, as COVID-19 loosened its grip on parts of the world, some XTERRA elites were able to dip their toes back in the competitive waters. On Lake Malvino of the stunning Brenta Group mountain range in northeastern Italy, Ruben Ruzafa of Spain and Marta Mendito of Italy won a short course race. The podiums looked a little different, but the unbridled joy of competition was as evident as ever. And in Praha Itza, a Renaissance-era city in the Bohemia region of the Czech Republic, more than 200 competitors, following national and local health guidelines, raced a full-length XTERRA triathlon through the Sumava National Park. The men's title went to Arthur Serrières, with his French countryman Maxime Chanet in second. In the women's race, Laura Philipp of Germany led wire to wire in a dominant victory. A triumphant return to racing for athletes who had been sidelined for many months.
XTERRA to me is just fun. It's a challenging, super hard adventure, but I just love that I have to tackle the elements out there, whatever they might be.
XTERRA is hard, it's fun, and it's a community.
XTERRA is a style of life, to love to do a sport in the modern nature.
XTERRA, it's kept me interested over all these years because of every venue. It's so dramatically different. You're a lot more in touch with nature than you are in a lot of other sports. It's a way to get out and see these destinations in a way that nobody else can.
It's amazing being able to train full-time and to travel to amazing countries and be able to live a healthy lifestyle and compete at such a high level, and to be able to ride the best bikes there is and have sponsorship and support from my wife, and she's traveling with me. So it's an amazing lifestyle, so I would like to do this as long as I can.